So here's a question I thought would be answered by now. Who was using this room? It's clearly an important room. This is where we play the therapy tapes scattered all around the Pizzaplex, and it's where we find the code that the marketing material told us how to solve. Both aspects of this room serve to foreshadow that there was more to Gregory's story than we were seeing in the game. The therapy tapes told us that he was spying on and stealing information from Vanessa.
What you might not know is that this person who's been sending you messages has been hacking into your personal files too. These are the same files I have here. These files are full of details about your life.
Thing is, when I read the communications, I get something different out of them. I don't think you're being manipulated here. I think you're the one doing the manipulating.
And the wall code told us that either he or someone before him was instructed to do all of the things Gregory did in the game. Dodge, duck, flash, shoot, crawl, run, crush the vile band. So clearly, whoever was using this room had a close connection to Gregory. But who was it? Obviously I have some ideas since I'm making this video. I have 5 ideas to be exact, and I'll go through them from least to most likely. Suspect number 5, Michael. The 5th and least likely suspect is somehow the most obvious one. Michael was using the room. It looks just like his room, and the files call it the Purple Man room. Sounds like an open and shut case, right?
Wrong!
Michael was in the pizzeria simulator fire, and Henry didn't tell him how to escape. He couldn't have survived. Nothing after that game gives any indication that he's still around either. Well, except for the code of the AR game, but that's full of random garbage, some of which was even stolen from David Near videos, so I'm not gonna count that. There's also a better explanation for this room looking like his living room anyway. It literally just is his living room. The Pizzaplex was built on top of several old locations. The pizzeria simulator one, Fredbear's, those two might be the same, but that's a whole separate theory, and probably even sister location. So it was probably built over the Afton house too, which is right next door to Fredbear's and right above sister location. Suspect number 4, Vanessa. Vanessa was a reluctant follower. She did what Glitchtrap wanted, but she didn't want to. She was all alone in the building all night, which would give her a way to access this room without anyone noticing. If she learned about Gregory, then she would want to stop him. You could also say she built the breath, since she mended Glitchtrap in the VR game and let him escape. However, this doesn't line up with a lot of what we know about Vanessa. For one, she doesn't even seem to know Gregory. She says multiple times to multiple characters that she doesn't know who he is. Second, why would she need tapes of her own therapy sessions? She wouldn't get anything out of them. Third, she already has 2 rooms of her own in the Pizzaplex. Why would she need a third? Suspect number 3, Edwin Murray. Edwin is the one who created the Mimic in the first place, and he did so using old parts. That would explain, break and mend, I built the breath. He's also shown to write in a code consisting of triangles within triangles, which, while not an exact fit, is somewhat close to what we see in the wall code. The problem here is the timeline of events. We never hear anything about Edwin entering this room, and he dies shortly after discovering that the Mimic has infiltrated the Pizzaplex. He wouldn't have the time to learn about Gregory, get all these therapy tapes, and create this elaborate code. Suspect number 2, Cassie's Dad. This one relies on a lot of stretches, but it's at least about a person who's probably alive. Cassie's dad was a technician at the Pizzaplex, meaning he was in the building quite often. It's not too outlandish to think he could have a secret hideout. One of the things we learn about him is that he was a fan of Freddy and Friends on tour, so much so that he collected merchandise from the series. And what do you know? The person in the room was watching Freddy and Friends on tour. As a Pizzaplex technician, He would have also had a hand in projects like the Glamrock animatronics and the Storyteller tree, both of which could match the claim of "I built the breath." And he would know the animatronics' weaknesses, hence the line, "Dodge, duck, flash, shoot, crawl, run, crush the vile band." The technicians are also highly suspicious of Gregory, to the point that they're in communication with his therapists.
Apparently, the techs were reviewing communications going in and out of this building, and they came across some interesting things. They say you were in communication with someone, or maybe something. Pretty strange. What do you think about that? Nothing? Well, the techs say it looked to them like it was an attempt to manipulate you, or maybe to lure you somewhere.
Which could be why this person has the therapy tapes. This theory's problem lies in how speculative it is. Since we know barely anything about him, we could say that he did this or that without finding contradictions, but there isn't much hard evidence either. For all we know, Cassie's dad could have spent all his time fixing Monty's legs every time he falls off the catwalks. Suspect number 1. Gregory. Now, hear me out on this one. Who besides Gregory would have therapy tapes of himself and of Vanessa? He is the one killing the therapists, and he is directly stated to be collecting sensitive information from Vanessa's therapy files.
This person who's been sending you messages has been hacking into your personal files too. These are the same files I have here.
He would need these tapes in order to keep track of what the therapists know. Who, besides Gregory, the unusually short child, would make this room accessible through an unusually short, child-sized door? Who, besides Gregory, who says stuff like this, would write such a flowery poem? All the evidence for other people also applies to Gregory. He has a lot of experience with the animatronics, as shown in GGY and the therapy tapes, so he would know all of their weaknesses. He was also responsible in some way for the mimic virus, according to the therapists.
When the techs traced the glitch back to its origin, it led them to you.
Meaning he did build the breath in some way or another. We know that Gregory goes through some sort of memory loss before the start of Security Breach. That's the only reason he'd need instructions anyway. Otherwise, the person who wrote the wall code could just tell Gregory what to do. Of course, this still raises questions. Ones that I don't have answers for. Why did Gregory switch alliances? How did he lose his memory? These two questions are the reason I can't definitively say this answer is correct. But I think it lines up the best out of all the options we have. Maybe sometime soon we'll get more information, and I can make a follow-up video.